Everyone, this is John, and as some of you may not know, this is Project Libertas. What we do here is we try to just explore and make ourselves aware and conscious of the different ideas that govern society and the world, and in order so we can make more rational and better decisions in the future, and so we can know and figure out what's true, what's false, and what we should believe. So, with that being said, this two-block little talk is about ideological themes within the prospective ideologies of each of the two main opposing ideologies in American politics. So liberalism was last week, conservatism is this week. So as we know, last week, if you haven't watched the video, it's up there. But if you just want a quick recap before you go back and watch it, the main theme that we realized that liberalism has adapted for its ideology is egalitarianism, basically through violent means of the state in order to realize their egalitarianism. So basically, deep state interference in order to realize their ideological theme. Why do they adopt this this theme and these sub themes or means in order to achieve the end of their themes? Or the end of their themes or concepts within their ideology. I've basically narrowed it down to that they have a a normative conception of society that they hold, and they want to superimpose it into reality through the means of force. So basically, they have this normative conception of reality, which is this radical egalitarianism that is subjective. It's not actually true egalitarianism. It's just egalitarianism according to what they believe is egalitarianism. And in order to achieve this egalitarianism, they have to rely on forceful or violent measures. And this usually takes place in the form of massive state interference, because the state is the only institution within the society that has the monopoly on power and force. So that's just a quick recap of liberalism. If you want to hear the full thing, go back. The video's up. This week we're going to do conservatism and what conservatism believes. I guess more or less. Just a quick overview. And like we did for liberalism last week, what its main theme is. Conservatism's main theme, unlike from what you hear from the media and the educational system, and any sort of movies or TV shows you listen to, isn't racism, hatred, bigotry, and greed, or things of that nature. What conservatism's true theme within its ideology, or the true theme that animates its ideology, is liberty. And people have different ways of defining liberty, but let me go ahead and give you the easiest definition of liberty, and then we'll go from there. Liberty is not pure and interfered with freedom. That pure freedom is more or less anarchy, and conservatives don't believe in anarchy. Freedom is I guess a morally ambiguous or indifferent term. Liberty is a very, very moral term that has a lot of implications with it. So liberty, basically, this is just a little rough equation from what I can gather, or from what I've researched, is freedom, which is the ability to do what you want within the auspices of morality or virtue. So it has an ethical component to it. It is freedom. Yes, you can do what you want as long as it doesn't do X, Y, and Z. And that's mostly pertaining to other people. As long as you do not do X, Y, and Z to the next person, then you can do more or less whatever you want. Or as long as you don't harm, I guess, the society or corrupt the society at whole, you can do whatever you want. So just some basic implications of these is that the mean to accomplish liberty, and so there's a few means, but one of the means is self-preservation. You need, obviously, a society that is existing and can exist on a certain, or function on a certain level, in order to have liberty. So, and then the next thing, of course, would be, since there's an ethical component to liberty, the correct moral practices, and then the third thing would be an objective rule of law that doesn't have any sort of biases or is not deferential to any one person or one group of people. It applies equally to all people over all times. So those are the implications or the sub themes of liberty. Why do conservatives believe this? Because you might have heard this, like in the Declaration of Independence. This is a good example of this. Most conservatives are natural rights theorists, and so what they believe is that you are born with intrinsic rights that can never be revoked or never be taken away from you in a moral sense. So if someone or some institution like the state were to deprive you of these rights, then they would in fact be acting in the wrong, and they would be immoral, and you would still be in the right. And so these rights are life, liberty, and property. You always have the right to your life. You always have the right to your liberty, which is freedom plus virtue, plus virtue or slash morality. And then you always have the right to your property. The only way you can give up these rights is if you do something in your life that will compromise your standing or your ability to hold these rights. So say if I were to say I have all my rights right now, but if I were to go out and take someone from something, or if I were to take someone's life from someone, therefore I would compromise my ability to maintain and hold these rights, but that would only be because of what I've done as an individual, not what someone else believes I should do according to some sort of normative standard of an alternate reality. So as you can see, conservatism is it's a very practical, it's a very it works well within the confines of human nature. So, and that's why a lot of people believe in it, even though they might not believe in it as or see it as concisely as has been laid out right now. So just some examples of liberty. We'll start with self-preservation. So this obviously means a strong, or at least a passable national defense in order to stop any sort of violent intrusion or action that the society could incur if there wasn't equally a strong violent force ready to meet those threats. So you can't have your life, liberty, and property if someone if someone takes over the country and of course rules as a despot or a tyrant. So that's like first things first. You need you need a space of land so where you can practice these natural rights abilities within and self-preservation, and the means to self-preservation, which are military at a national level, is the best way so far that humans have discovered to do this. At an individual level, it would probably also imply firearms rights to moral and legally abiding individuals. You have the right to defend your body and as well as the body of the people closest to you, and even in some societies the bodies of the other legally abiding citizens that don't have a firearm on them at the time, if someone of a violent nature were to come in and try to deprive those people of their rights that we talked about before this. Morality. So basically, liberty is, as we said, freedom plus or tempered by morality or virtue. We believe in an objective morality. Okay, we believe that the morality that we believe in applies equally to everyone, and over from basically every age, from the time that they are capable of any sort of reasoning levels. We believe that morality applies to them until basically you lose those reasoning levels, or you become deprived of them through, I don't know, like a car crash, something to that extent. So conservatives believe that we believe in an objective morality, so that's why you see in a lot of these conservative states, I guess, some sort of quote-unquote progressive social laws getting voted down all the time, because the people there understand what objective morality is and how it is actually better for the human race than a subjective, societally conceived or constructed form of morality. So the main thing that you would see that conservatives rallying around is the traditional family structure between a man and woman and then whoever their offspring are. We understand that once a society becomes enamored and glorifies homosexuality, its moral and ethical decline are basically closely followed suit, because it loses all ability to differentiate between a clear natural act between between a couple of couples of the opposite gender, and then couples of the same gender. So if you lose the ability to differentiate between the implications of those relationships, then conservatives realize that you lose the implication to differentiate between a full-grown man and a 5-year-old girl, or a person and an animal, those sorts of things, because those or a full-grown man and 5 women within a family structure. So there's either one objective one, conservatives say, or there's we lose all consistency when we try to arbitrarily define what we believe is right within the society. So that's why you see people coming out against abortion, which is more or less infanticide, gay marriage relations. So that is morality. So and then the last and one of the major ones is there's a lot of free market implications in this belief. If you have the right to your life, liberty, and property, you have the right to peacefully enter into contracts with other people that peacefully agree to enter into contracts, and to use your goods and services that you supply as a person on an exchange market in a peaceful manner, if that's what you so wish. And then the implication of that is, if you were to gain any sort of materials from that, like in the form of money or goods, then you should be able to keep those, or keep as much of them as possible. The only things that you should have to give up is the goods to support your self-preservation. So that is basically what the conservative believes in. More power to the individual, less power to the collective or to the state. So all in all these do is they empower the individual and expand their rights and freedoms, and they they decrease the power of the state, or the only apparatus of violence and coercion within the society. So that's conservatism. I mean, as best as I can explain it, under pressure, through wearing a mask and speaking into a camera. Thanks for listening. If you are listening to this, thanks for listening to hear what I have to say, and I guess my version of conservatism. If you have any friends, if you have any friends that you think that will be interested in this, tell them about it, and just let you know that if you do, kind of believe what I believe in, that you're not the only one that believes in that, and just stay strong, and you can really make a difference where you are in the world right now.